I've always wanted to ride a horse, and never in my life did I think that first time would be at a Renaissance festival. Hi, I'm Hannah. Thank you so much for coming to my channel where I talk all things costume, cosplay, and events. Today we are talking about the third year of the Hocking Hills Medieval Festival. We'll try to put up some footage from year one and year two. Year one, I did not have a YouTube channel yet, so everything's going to be vertical. Year two, you'll see. You'll see what you see. We are on our way to the Hocking Hills Medieval Fest, and this is the third year of this event. I'm really hoping this event is going to turn out amazing. Year one, it was a free event at a brewery in Hocking Hills, and it was tiny, it was fun, it was so community oriented, and we had a great time. Last year, the word spread about how amazing this free Ren Fair experience was, and people came from all over, like different states, all over the place came, and it was like almost like an emergency situation in the Hocking Hills because of how many cars were there. Like they were turning people away at the gate. We literally couldn't even get in. If you want to see more about that, I will link the video from that in the description box below. But yeah, so I'm really, really hopeful that this is going to turn out good, and I'm excited. This fair moved to a new venue at the local fairgrounds nearby the brewery where it all started. They had to charge an entrance fee to a previously free event. So the last few years it was a free event. Anybody could come. I think they charged like $5 for parking or something. This year they had to charge an entry fee for every person. Single adult tickets were available online for $10. After some fees, it was 11 and some change per person, which feels very reasonable, right? However, my husband had not been feeling well, so I wasn't sure if he was actually going to be able to come with me or not. So I didn't want to buy two tickets and then he doesn't go, and I've wasted money on a ticket and he didn't go. I should have just bought the tickets anyway. Because I didn't know this, but they turned off buying tickets in advance, like day of. I wish they had been more transparent about that. I did later see a post on their Facebook page saying, okay, it's only a few hours left before you can no longer buy tickets online. I do not live and breathe Facebook, so I did not see that. It wasn't until after I was in the car trying to buy tickets on the way there that I was like, what's happening? Why can I not buy tickets? Is the event canceled or something? What's going on? No, they shut it off the night before. So I don't know, kind of my bad on that one. But also I feel like they should have, like, it should have been more clear, like maybe on the actual page where you're buying tickets saying, hey, advanced ticket prices cut off 11:59 the night before, something like that. I was a little irritated, but because we had to purchase at the gate, the base price of the adult ticket was $15 each for my husband and I. And while I was a little annoyed at the increase in price, what I was really irritated with was like just the process of getting into the fair. Google took us to an entrance that was blocked off with like a police cruiser. So obviously we're not going to get in that way. So we drive around a little bit. We eventually find a sign that says, like written in Sharpie, event parking this way. We follow that. We get into a line of cars. The line of cars is not moving very quickly. However, it's not like a mile of cars. It's like maybe 4 or 5 cars in front of us. But it's not moving quickly. So I'm like, okay, here we go. But there, like, I wasn't really sure what was going on. It was just a line of cars. There weren't any signs. Like, clearly some sort of exchange was happening between the gate attendant and the cars. When we had one car in front of us, we had the windows down. We could hear her say, cash your card. And then transaction happened. And I was like, I don't, is this for parking? I don't understand. Because if it's like parking, I have some cash and we can do that. So when we pulled forward, she was like, cash your card. And I was like, for what though? And she said, the parking and admission is all in one. So we did all of our tickets in the car at the gate. Just a little interesting. So we gave her my card because I didn't bring that much cash because again, I thought I was going to be able to buy the ticket on my phone. So I gave her my card and I felt bad for her. She was the only person there when we were there. And her card reader was not working, the thing that she had plugged into her phone to read cards. So she had to type in all of the cards. That's what was taking so long, I'm pretty sure. She had to type in all of my card information, which, like, having been on the other side of like the vendor side of like of Square and such, when you type in cards like that, it is a higher fee for the vendor. So I feel bad for kind of everyone involved there. It doesn't affect the price to the consumer, it affects the people receiving the money. So yikes. And so, already we're not looking very good, right? And, had I been able to purchase day of tickets in the on the website, we could have sped this process up significantly and the fair would be facing fewer fees. I will give them some kudos though, because later in the evening, after I was home scrolling, there was a post on their Facebook page that, backed by popular demand, you could once again buy tickets online. They did not have that discount online still, so like it was back to the $15 a person, but you could still purchase them online rather than having your card typed in at the gate, right? But I'm glad that they learned quickly. They saw that that was an issue for guest experience, and before I even posted anything on the internet, they were like, "We're doing it. We're fixing it," right? Amazing. I love that. So we get through all of that, and then we're directed to park in the grass. Something I'll note that none of the staff or volunteers had identifying t-shirts or vests. Like usually you'll be in like a neon t-shirt that says staff or whatever. Everyone was just kind of wearing whatever. So at one point they were like, go over to that guy down there. I couldn't even see him. He was wearing like khakis and a green shirt, and it was like blending into the grass around him. But anyway, so we finally get there. We park totally fine. There was a little bit of a walk into the festival, but the ground was flat. Not terrible, really not terrible. And I think there was some parking closer up for accessibility needs. Inside the fair, the vendors were circled around an area that was paved, which is great again for accessibility. We saw several people using wheelchairs, and I was happy that they were able to access the space. At the previous location, when we were just kind of in the yard of the brewery, it wasn't very accessibility friendly. So being here with the pavement meant that more people could enjoy it. There were several vendors I recognized from other smaller fairs, and even a sewing vendor who I've bought some of her things at a local Ren Fair costume shop. So like she brings stuff to this shop and sells some stuff there, but she also has a booth that she will take to the Renaissance Fair or Makers Market type thing. So it was cool to meet her and like see the person that made those garments. And I do actually really love them. They're actually very well made, and I do treasure them. So that was really fun. The only thing I ended up buying were these cute little flower earrings from Ray of the Fae. Ray spelled R-A-E, and then Fae F-A-E, so Ray of the Fae. And they were $12, and they're just these cute little like flower earrings. And I just think they're adorable. She had them in a couple different colors, and this is what I ended up picking. I don't know. I just think they're freaking adorable, and I'm excited to wear them. I loved everything from her store, but I was not able to spend more, so I took these little earrings because I just couldn't pass it up. I was pleasantly surprised that some of the vendors and fair goers were doing trinket trades. So I'm going to show you what I got for my trades. This one came from a vendor. It's just a little wooden token with an H stamped into it and painted. This one is just a tiny little jar, and I think it's literally just dirt. Like it's, like I think I gave them back like a bottle of glitter. So I don't know. It's so tiny and cute. And then these next two are from a fair goer. Gave me one and gave one to my husband. It's just like this little guy who looks like he's going into battle. I don't know. I thought it was cute. And then my husband picked this one, and I'm glad he did because I didn't even see it. I'm pretty sure it's just like this 3D printed little cat. Um, if y'all don't know, I love cats so much. So this is cute. These things are all gonna go up on my shelf. So right up here. Yeah. So I don't know. I love trinket trading. That's why I always bring my little trinket pouch with me, and it's a good day if there's trinket traders. But after doing a quick loop of the vendors, we heard someone say that it was almost time for the first joust of the day. So we headed to the bleachers to take our seats. Before the joust, they did fire a watermelon from a trebuchet, which was really fun, and I've never seen that before. So we're already off to a good start here, right? And y'all, I cannot tell you how I was not ready for the experience of the Knights of Valor. If you've seen them before, you probably know, but if you've never seen them before, you're missing out. To be honest, you are missing out. I did not know that I was in for extreme full contact jousting. So they brought their own DJ, not very medieval, but it really helped with like the competitive vibes. If you've ever seen the movie A Knight's Tale, like it really kind of felt like that. If that makes sense. They had an amazing MC named Shane Adams, who hosted the History Channel's Full Metal Jousting, which I didn't know was a thing, and I absolutely will be looking into here soon. So they had 5 knights competing, and they did, you know, the normal like catching the ring and then like staking a bullseye. And they did a thing where they were cutting an apple off of the head of a person, of one of the squires. She was wearing a helmet. She was good. But they did actually hit her at once. So I think I got footage of that. And the final joust of the session that we saw ended with 2 knights hitting each other and falling flat on their backs off their horses. And of course, I didn't get a shot of it because I was getting water from my water bottle, but like the one knight was down for a good like 15 seconds. He had to have people help him up, which was absolutely insane. Like before this, I'd only ever seen someone knocked off once, and that was at the Kentucky Renaissance Fair. But it was crazy. It was so crazy. And they were all very entertaining the whole time. It's easily the most entertaining joust I've seen yet. I feel like I always say that, but like they just keep one upping each other. I don't know that anybody will beat the Knights of Valor though. This group does tour around North America, including locations in Canada. I'll link their website in the description below because oh my goodness, if they are coming to a fair near you, you have to go see them. At the end of the show, it was the first show of the day. It took about 40 minutes. So after that show, they were selling little wooden swords that were like painted that were made out of broken lances, which is super cool. And they were like, you can go get it signed by the knights. And I am not gonna lie, I was very tempted to do that. I was very tempted to go get the child's wooden sword and have the knights sign it. But we saw all the people swarming over there, and my husband talked me out of it. So I was like, okay, fine, I can live without the $10 sword. And they also said that they were doing rides on war horses for $10. But again, I saw the swarming and I was like, let's just go see what else we can find. So we took a little round again at the vendors, like a little bit of a closer look at some of the vendors. And we also went into a barn that was open. I was like, I just want to see what it is. And getting up closer, it's the Green Dragon Inn. So it was where you could buy your alcoholic beverages if you were interested in that. And I also saw Garbage the Goblin. Sprout was also there somewhere, but I didn't see her. But they were there, which is so fun. They also had a lot of food trucks, which was cool, but we didn't end up staying and eating anything because we were like, we're not going to be here for a very long time. But there was a good variety of things, more than I've seen at other smaller Renaissance fairs. I also couldn't find any sort of schedule or map when I got in, which I talked about this in the Great Camelot Renaissance Fair video. At least have a QR code up or something. Like, please just help me get the information. I did find one later. You guessed it, on the Facebook page. So after looking at that, there was other entertainment that we did not see, but we saw the joust, and that is what I always want to see. So, you know, and we weren't planning on being there for a very long time either. So I'm not super upset, but how are people going to find the shows if they don't know when or what is happening? And I also have to note that the selection of vendors was odd for me. There weren't many, which is understandable for an event of this size, and it's still newer. It's in its first few years. However, I feel like there were at least 5 vendors that were selling just straight up 3D printed things like the dragons, the octopus, things like that. And they're not painted or decorated, they're just like straight from the 3D printer. And vendors, I know you're just trying to make a living, just trying to make some cash. I so get it. I just wish that there were fewer of these at every event. I feel like if you are a person who is organizing an event like this and you keep getting a lot of those that just sell that, there needs to be a limit because there were too many of that at this festival. So after taking another look around, we were about ready to call it a day. We were really hot and sweaty. Time to go and get rehydrated. I was looking for a place to take some nice photos because I hadn't really found anything yet. Spoiler alert, there were not a lot of good photo op places. So I went back over to where the joust was, wondering maybe some of the knights were still out. I could take a picture with a knight or something. They were not. But they were very near the end of doing the warhorse rides. So there was basically no one over there. I also saw an adult woman riding a horse, so it wasn't just for kids. So I was like, okay, this is less weird. I've seen another adult do this. I like turned to my husband. I was like, I really want to ride a horse. And he's like, do you have $10? And I'm like, mm-hmm. So I pull up my $10 cash and I walk up to Shane Adams, the host, the guy that was on History Channel. I'm like, can I please ride a horse? And he's like, do you have $10? I'm like, here you go. And he's like, you're next. So I was like, and then I like went over, and there's like these little steps you get on to help get on the horse. The staff helped me get up on the horse. I think his name was Paladin, and they taught me how to get on the saddle and all of that, especially in my dress. And then I got to take like a slow little journey ride around the joust, and it made me so happy. I've literally always wanted to ride a horse, and I mean, obviously, I did like a pony ride at the fair when I was a kid, but that's a little different. You're like spinning on a wheel. You're not like actually like free on a horse. I don't know, it just made me feel powerful and really happy. And I was definitely channeling all of my horseback riding book characters inside of me and living my best life. I also had a great conversation with the guy who was leading the horse around. Apparently, the Knights of Valor used to perform at the Ohio Renaissance Festival. I did not know that, but while they were there, this man worked with them with the horses and all that. I think he said he was a squire. So that was fun. Although now I'm sad that the Knights of Valor used to be at Ohio Ren Fest and they're not there anymore. It makes me sad. But you know, honestly, what a great way to end a little journey to the fair. Doing something I've never done for the first time that I've always wanted to do. And I love that they called them more horses. um Honestly, I didn't want to get off the horse. I was like, can I keep going? Can I just do more? Can I keep doing this? But I'm sure the horses were tired and needed a break because they had more joust shows later. Yeah, so we headed out and we went over to the parking lot, like the far side of the parking lot where there was some nice greenery. Ended up taking some pictures there, then went back to the car, got out of costume, and started going home. Overall thoughts on this fair, I absolutely loved it. It is a huge improvement from where the fair started out. Not that it was bad at the beginning. I want that to be clear. I loved it when it was super small at the brewery. However, this was amazing in its own ways as well. It was still small, but it had this amazing experience because of the Knights of Valor. And the setup was just a lot better. And it's just really amazing to see how it has grown since the first one 3 years ago, right? Well, it's no longer free. The admission cost was absolutely worth it, even just to see the Knights of Valor. Like, I cannot say enough good things about them. It was one of the best shows I've seen. This festival runs the weekend before the Ohio Renaissance Festival opens. It's kind of like a precursor to the Ohio Renaissance Fest. And I hope that it continues. And I especially hope they bring back Knights of Valor because I loved what they put on. I will absolutely continue to visit this fair. It's clear that the organizers have learned a lot since the first year, and I'm excited to see what happens next. That brings me to the end of this video. Have you ever gone to the Hocking Hills Medieval Fest? What was your experience? Were you there this year? Have you ever seen the Knights of Valor? Let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, a comment, or sharing the video with a friend. It really helps this channel, and I will love you forever. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.